The USMNT have beaten Australia 2-0 in a tough battle game that we all thought was going to be a real test for the U.S. men's national team, especially after they beat Paraguay 4-1. There were so many people who doubted this team, said Paraguay wasn't good, said Australia beat Turkey, or Turkey, however you want to pronounce it, and that they were going to beat the United States, they were going to give them a battle, and that the United States were in for its biggest challenge. Well, the United States have won 2-0, and on top of that, they have clinched a spot in the round of 32. The first time they've ever clinched a spot out of the group, or the fastest they've ever done that in the entire World Cup history the United States has participated in. So let's talk about this game and what we saw and what happened. Now, the first thing we need to talk about is Christian Pulisic did not play in this game. He was announced that he wouldn't play probably 2 hours before the game had started. Hey, real quick, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're growing like crazy. The World Cup is among us, and we have a lot of content you guys are not going to want to miss. So also make sure you guys hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. And we were curious, how was Pochettino going to fill the void without him playing? Who was going to play in his place? How would they look against Australia missing their most important player? And so he goes with Pepe with 2 at the top, which was very interesting. And he goes to Adams as essentially the only pivot. Tillman, fell back a little bit, so did McKennie to help, but Tillman and McKennie were playing in front of Adams most of the game. So I was wondering how this was going to look, especially because we expected Australia to play a low block, and that's exactly what they did. So in the first 10 minutes, both teams looked very nervous, and you could just feel the emotions and that they were trying to settle in the game. But then there was a good chance on a cross, and Ballo wasn't able to get to it. Pepe wasn't able to get to it, but the Australian player scored an own goal. Burgess scored an own goal in the 11th minute to put the United States up 1-0, which was very reminiscent of the Paraguay game because that was the first goal we scored against them. So own goal, player own goal, has now 2 goals in the World Cup for the United States. He's tied for the Golden Boot for the United States with Ballo with 2 goals. So that puts us up early. And at that point, I felt like the pendulum started to swing where the United States really started to have control of the game. We really frustrated, outmanned, out-physicaled Australia most of the first half. Now, we didn't have a lot of shots on goal. I don't think we had a single shot, actually, like the first 25 minutes of the game, but we weren't letting them bully us. Like, the thing with Australia was when they played Turkey, they bullied them in that game. They bullied them badly and out-physicaled them, outmanned them, and they took their lunch money, whatever you want to say. They dominated Turkey. We didn't let that happen. We were chippy. We were physical with them. We didn't give them anything. And they looked very, very, I don't want to say average or be disrespectful, but they did look pretty average today, right? And I did think it was interesting that Popovich didn't start Irikunda, especially to give that pace for Australia to challenge Tim Ream, because I think that would have been a better plan for them to challenge us, but it doesn't matter because they didn't. And Toure up top looked very, very average, right? And I feel like the entire U.S. men's national team played pretty well in the first half outside of maybe Pepe. Pepe wasn't bad. I just think he was kind of unnoticeable. He had a couple good touches, a couple good passes. But I feel like out of all the team collectively played very good again in this game. Everyone played good in this game. Everyone in the first half, except maybe Pepe. Ballo had a couple bad touches himself. But we forced Australia to give us the ball the entire time. They weren't able to do anything on the counter. 70% possession in the first half for the United States, which is what it felt like. It felt like they were just giving us the ball and just hoping to God we wouldn't score. And then in the 43rd minute, off of a shot from Dest, it deflected off the defender, bounced up, and then I think it was Dest, if I'm not mistaken, but it bounced up, and then Alex Freeman scores a header off the rebound, and they said he was offside at first. Then they went back to check the replay on it. He was, in fact, onside. He scored his first World Cup game to put the United States up 2-0 in the 43rd minute against Australia. And this was something spectacular because of what we said. Australia was going to be a tough team, and that we weren't going to be able to just bully. Well, I wouldn't say bully them, but we weren't going to score 4 or 5 goals on them because the low block they were going to play. We saw, like I said, again, what Turkey was unable to do against them. So being up 2-0 in the first half against Australia was a great sign for this team and gave me a lot of confidence about what is going on, which we'll talk about later because I've gotten a lot of criticism, a lot of people saying I'm crazy for saying the United States are a dark horse, but I'm standing on that now, especially after what we saw today. So we go into the half 2-0. U.S. are up. Look very good in the first half, right? Very good in the first half. I expected Australia to make a lot of substitutions. They did. They made like 3 substitutions right off the rip in the second half. Irakundo came in the second half. Metcalf came in the second half. Garia came in the second half. So they made their substitutions after the first half. The United States didn't make a single substitution after the 45 minutes, which I thought was a mistake because some of our guys started to look tired, and I wanted to see certain players get some minutes in this game. So we didn't make any substitutions. We looked very sloppy in the second half. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that we were getting bullied in the second half. You could start to see that they because Australia, like I said, 70% of possession by the United States to 30 in the first half. The second half, they were going for it more because they had to. They had to score some goals if they wanted to try to get back in this game. And I feel like we just did not look as good. Like we looked vulnerable in a lot of positions. The possession in the second half was 54-46. So it was definitely a lot closer, but some of the pace and just it looked like our guys had heavy legs. Like, and I think that's because a lot of these guys have played almost 180 minutes in the last two matches in the last week, right? So we don't make a substitution until the 74th minute. We bring in Sebastian Berhalter, which I was very surprised by. Sebastian Berhalter came in for Ricardo Pepi. I thought Reyna was going to come in for Pepi, just because that would give us a little bit more something dynamic in the final third. And I wanted to see what he would do. Maybe I really wanted to see what he would do in the Christian Pulisic position in this match, but he didn't get subbed in the 74th minute. And I thought Sebastian Berhalter the first pass he had was just too short and he gave the ball away. He looked a little bit nervous. He kind of settled in a little bit. I wouldn't say he was bad. He was just okay. There's definitely a quality drop off when he got into the game. 80th minute, we brought in Austin Trusty for Jedi, which was surprising because I thought we would do Tim Ream because Tim Ream, there was a play in the game where Tim Ream tried to do an offside trap on Eric Kunda. And then when he realized it didn't work, he had to try to play catch up and you saw him running and it was embarrassing. It was like a snail. It was like a snail versus a rabbit, right? So that was concerning, but thank God that Ream or Popovich didn't do anything to put Ream in any type of predicament where he was, one-on-one with a pacey winger or attacker. They didn't try to expose that weakness in our defense, which thank God they didn't, but God help us when we play a team that does do that. So Trusty came in, like I said, for Jedi, which I thought was surprising. And then Joe Scally came in. He came in for, I think, McKinney. No, it wasn't McKinney. I think he actually came in for Dest. That's who he came in. He came in for Dest. So Dest and Jedi, that's right. Both fullbacks came out. And then we brought in Scally and we brought in Trusty. And then we were just playing bunker ball for the rest of the second half. We were just hoping to God that Australia wouldn't score, and they had some chances in the end. Like I said, the possession was almost 50-50. They had 3 shots, 1 on target. We had 1 shot the entire second half. 0.10 expected goal rate for the United States compared to 0.32 for Australia. Australia were really giving it to us, and they were getting chippy. They were fouling. We saw Balogun and Sudar, bumping each other, both getting yellow cards. Ballo had him in a headlock. It was getting very, very physical at the end of the game because Australia, I think, at that point knew that they lost the game, and they were just trying to make it as difficult on us as possible and showcase some of their frustrations about the results or the disappointment in the result that they didn't get. But the United States, let's talk about this. United States win 2-0, right? This is the second game in a row that they played collectively good ball together as a team. They just got 6 points in the group. They have a +5 goal difference through 2 games in the group stage. 6 goals scored, 1 goal conceded. The first clean sheet in a while. Not sure the last time we had a clean sheet, but it's been a minute since we've done that. And they have to play Turkey as their last game of the group stage before the group stage is over with. So now that they've clinched this, they don't really have to play any of the starters in that game, but obviously that would be ideal because you want to try to win the group stage. It's going to give you an easier opponent in the round of 32. But United States are in the driver's seat. I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys. They are doing better than I thought they were going to do. Hey, everyone, quick word from our sponsor, FanDuel. If you're into soccer like I am, you already know how exciting La Liga, the Premier League, and MLS matches can get. With FanDuel, you can make it even more fun by placing bets on your favorite teams and matches across all three leagues. Whether it's a Premier League showdown, a La Liga thriller, or an MLS game with your local club, FanDuel makes it easy and exciting to bet on what you watch. Just remember, you have to be 21 years or older to play. Please bet responsibly and only if you're of legal age and in a state where it's allowed. Download the FanDuel app or head over to FanDuel.com, sign up, and get in on the action. Thanks for supporting the channel through FanDuel. A couple weeks ago, they are, in fact, a dark horse in this team. And I think people don't fully agree on what the term dark horse means. When I say dark horse, I mean a team that if they catch the right momentum or everything goes right, they have a chance of winning. It doesn't mean they're a favorite. It doesn't mean they're guaranteed to win it. It means that they have the ability, if things go right, to win it all. And I think that that is the United States. And there'll be people in the comment section saying, Will, it's only 2 games, just like they said that when it was after the Paraguay game. But the fact is, Australia beat down Turkey, and we beat them 2-0. And we're in the driver's seat in the group. We're likely to win the group. We're going to have a favorable opponent in the round of 32. Not sure about the round of 16. But the United States are playing the best ball I've seen them play ever as a team. Ever. Literally the entire team is playing well. That's what we've learned. Pochettino knows what he's doing. He's coaching effectively. The team is playing the best ball ever. Everyone has confidence, and it's on home soil, baby. So that means anything is possible. And it's going to be a very, very fun, exciting remainder of the World Cup to watch. I'm curious to know, how did you guys rate this performance by the USMNT today? Was it good, bad, or just okay? Let me know in the comment section down below. I read all your comments, and I try to reply to as many as I possibly can. Also, if you enjoyed this win, make sure you guys give us a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any videos. Until next time, guys, USMNT moves out.